Okay, so just a bit of advice when you're looking at this one. Okay, so we're going around x equals 0. When you're looking at this one, I would advise writing down the derivatives of all the terms that you need first. Okay, so I would start off by just finding, right, f of x equals that. What does f prime of x equal? What does f double prime of x equal? What does the third derivative equal? What does the fourth derivative equal? Okay, so I'm asking you for the first, is it 4 terms? First 3 terms. Okay, so I would go at least as far as the third derivative, and then you can consider. Okay, so we get cos of x, negative sine of x, negative cos of x. Okay, and then you can see what happens when you stick 0 into each of these, because of course you are considering it around x equals 0. So I consider what is f of 0? What is the first derivative of 0? What is the second derivative when we stick 0 in? What is the third derivative when we stick 0 in? Okay, so consider each one of these, and then we can go for our expansion. Okay. So that's going to be equal to 0. That's going to be equal to 1. It's going to be equal to 0. It's going to be equal to negative 1. Remember I want 3 terms. I can really easily see from here that I'm not going to have enough. Okay, because I'm only going to get 2 terms, sorry, this one and this one, because these 2 terms just drop out to be 0. So I need to consider another derivative. So the fourth derivative of x will be sine of x. Then if I stick my 0 into the fourth derivative, I get 0. So I'm going to have to consider another derivative, because this term is going to drop out as well. Okay, so always keep an eye on how many terms you're after, and just be aware sometimes they'll drop out to be 0. So what do we get? Negative cos. Sorry, no. It's just cos, isn't it? So f5 of 0 is equal to 1. Hey, we got 3 terms. We got 3 derivatives. Okay, and then we can write f of x then will be approximately equal to, well, the first one's going to be C0, okay? So let's think about this. So C0 is just going to be equal to f of 0, like that's what it tells us. So it's just going to be 0, okay? In fact, let me write this out in generalized notation. So I'm going to write, instead of writing C0, I'm going to write this as f of 0, that's my first term, plus f prime of 0 times x, okay, plus my second derivative of 0 times x squared divided by 2 factorial, plus the third derivative around 0 of 3 factorial over 3 factorial times by x cubed, plus the fourth derivative approximated at 0 divided by 4 factorial times x to the power 4, and so on. Okay. So I think it's much easier, now we've understood the idea, I think it's much easier now just to think about the formula. Okay? So understand all the ideas first, and then you can generalize it like this into a formula. Okay? So this falls out quite nicely. F of 0 is just 0. F prime of 0 is just 1, so we get 1 times x. F double prime of 0 is 0, so we get 0 divided by 2 factorial times x squared, plus my third derivative, which is negative 1, divided by 3 factorial times x cubed, plus my fourth derivative, which is 0, divided by 4 factorial times x to the power 4, plus my fifth derivative, which would be 1, divided by 5 factorial times x to the power 5, and you can carry on going. Yeah? Does that make sense, the pattern? Yeah, all good? Then you just go through and tidy up. Just like we were doing with binomials, you put your numbers in first, then the second time round you can go back and tidy up. So effectively this thing will just be equal to 0 plus 1 times x plus 0 minus 3 factorial is 6, so 1/6 of x cubed, plus 0 plus 5 factorial is 120, is that right? So 120 times x to the power 5. Yeah? So that would be the first 3 terms of sine of x approximated around x equals 0.